Well, I started it last Thursday, 13 June 2024, and finished it today, Thursday, 20 June 2024. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. So my notes for my June 2024 reading of The King, The Life of Charles III by Christopher Andersen. And it's a biography on King Charles III of the United Kingdom by Christopher Andersen, November 2022, Gallery Books, first edition, hardcover, ISBN in the video description. As a copy I got from the King County Library System. Yeah. And so anything else? The author of the book, Christopher Andersen, was born in Florida, United States of America, and is of Danish ancestral origins. I have not ever met the author, though back in 2008, he took one look at my life story and said, "I cannot work with this," in reference to me and my life story. The book is on the decoy of King Charles III, so most royal families have decoys. And considering how kind of mistreated the British family has been by the press, I'd say invoking decoys was a wise decision on their part. Does that mean it should be shelved in fiction, like this book, instead of biography/autobiography, since that is not made clear in the book itself? I don't know. Shelving systems can change, right? Currently, this might be shelved as nonfiction, but because the person did not clarify that the book was about the decoy, does that change in the future, right? To more accurately reflect the content of the book. I don't know. But I would just point out. All right, book notes, including construction and design. There are no visuals. As a number of books I've read now do not have visuals in the autobiography/biography genre. As in, like, picture kind of visuals. It does have, like, at the beginning of each chapter, there's, like, this kind of a visual, but it's not, like, yeah. It's copycatting Molly's Game, kind of visual, kind of thing. Like, it's not quite like a picture kind of visual. This did come out, almost a decade after Molly's Game by Molly's Bloom. That was 2014 that book came out. So no, it was about 8 years after. And there are a number of punctuation and word typographical errors, including missing and excess words. There's inconsistent italicization for print publication names in the main text, as well as the source and chapter notes section, such as print publications in the Associated Press. Guess he is a Team Caleb Dressel guy. Personally, I prefer objectivity, though the author is quite a gossip throughout the book. Yeah, so the tone of the book is gossip. So that comes through in terms of, like, clearly he's playing favorites for the Team Florida Caleb Dressel kind of thing. By, like, he doesn't italicize the Associated Press, it's a print publication, but then he italicizes other things, and I'm like, drama, gossip girl, in male form. Right? What does he say? He? No, it doesn't actually say he in the back. So they, it doesn't say he, him, his. Or no, two of his books there. His, it is a he, even though he's more gossipy than any girl I've ever met. And that's saying something. Okay. For the formatting, the name of the author and part of the name of the book, but not the full name of the book, is at the top, and then page numbers at the top. It's a full text pages and not a whole lot of breaks and paragraphs. So yeah, and there we go. So that's construction design. Reading notes. I'm just going to read through these. I typed them as I went. Perhaps the character President Snow in The Hunger Games is based on Prince Harry. Note made, page 18. There was something early on that I was like, oh my gosh, maybe it's Prince Harry. So it says in the book his dad was part Nordic, however, not of native Scandinavian people's descent. Around pages 55 to 60. Remember, they're the English, the British are proper. So Nordic is a term for modern day and is not of centuries to millennia/millennium and before ancestry. After reading the Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton biographies that I've already done book/reading notes on the channel, we know they go back as far as they can and take as much as they can when they write these books for their ancestry stuff. So Nordic does not equal Norse, does not equal original peoples. All right, they took what they could. the recent thing. So they have had a few centuries of diversification, and before that, just ancient Britain. That's just ancient Britain. So essentially, 3,000 years ago, there were a bunch of people in Britain. Then 2,000 years ago, a bunch of people went elsewhere in Europe. Then over the past few centuries, they have been bringing them back from elsewhere in Europe. But they're still ancient Britain, but ancestral origins. Which is like... Okay, next note. Scandalous Mrs. Keppel, page 99, in 1971 mention, perhaps what inspired Kippel in the 1968 book... Well, I read it, you guys! Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Because in this book, you know, they're talking about, I think it was Kippel, it multiplies if you touch it, right? It just multiplies and multiplies. And I was like, Scandalous Mrs. Keppel? Oh, like, you know, gossip spreads. If somebody says something, right, then it keeps spreading and multiplying. I was like, science fiction might have been inspired by that name. But, like, she's so representative of, put in as the trash. That's what they did, multiplying trash. That's in this book. Okay, so, yeah. All right, next note. 30 plus years of age category for escalating physically with his soulmate, Diana, page 122. And that's, again, the decoy of King Charles. So if I wanted in my English master's thesis, you know, if that comes to be, I might refer to my biography of King Charles III that I, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle wrote and already published a reading of before today. And today is Thursday, 20 June 2024. So I might refer to that one for the soulmate of the King Charles III, since this one is on the decoy. Okay. Hyphenated and used in quotation marks term soulmate, used in reference to Angelina Jolie and James Brolin on page 188. So it does actually use the word soulmate, but for different than the subject of the book. Page 360, King Charles joins a Saving Scotland's Red Squirrels campaign. Both the decoy and the true King Charles love red squirrels, including chickarees, which are North American red squirrels. So they're both nature buffs in that way. I'm happy there's consensus there somewhere. Okay, pages 361 to 362. Kate Middleton and Prince William go for a Spanish nanny instead of being staying-at-home parents. Curious, so this is taking that and thinking about modern times, like now, kind of thing. I'm curious if all the remote work/work from home has led to an increase in stay-at-home parent numbers. Right, if a bunch of people can work from home nowadays, I wonder if there's actually more stay-at-home parents, and they misjudged that trend. Like if they wanted to be representative of, if they wanted to be commoners, right? Yeah, so there's just a minute. Okay. If this book is invalidated by future, so that's kind of the reading this is like a takeaway note. If this book is invalidated by future publications, the value of the book becomes astronomical. Why? It documents what happened at the time. People condemning themselves to hell instead of choosing to do the right thing, or at least fight for truth and justice, preserves what they did so we can continue to bring it up and hold it over their head as we see fit, perhaps as long as they are alive. That way, it is a reminder of where they are going and what they get to live like after they die. Essentially, good people read this as a reminder of who is going to hell and what behavior got them there. That way, the good person can avoid/not do the bad behavior and instead go to heaven. It can become a textbook for assessing crimes for the condemned. For each lie and or transgression, we can accurately assess, or at least try to, assess the corresponding condemnation sentencing without ever interacting with the condemned. We should publish that. Like, I'm holding it upside down and backwards. There we go. But this isn't, was this the decoy photographed? Is it a real photograph? Is it artificial intelligence photograph? I don't know. It doesn't actually say. Okay. In conclusion, I give the book a 1.5 out of 5 stars, which is the lowest rating thus far. It would have been nice for the author to clarify decoy, but I don't know if they can do that at this point in time. That kind of thing. Okay. But okay, so I was like, let me think about moving forward, right, with this author. Considering the amount of Greek and swimming invoked throughout the text, perhaps Christopher Andersen, does biographies on Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, Caleb Dressel, his fellow Floridian, and Adam Peaty. Also, He invoked Pasternak favorably in a way others were not invoked in the book. So perhaps, and a Sabrina and stuff. And so I was like, so perhaps Sabrina Gonzalez Pasterski, someone he has discovered is a guarantee for a future Nobel Prize in physics, right? He decides to go into the Nobel Prize, or the author, right, to diversify his biography repertoire. And then in addition to that one, which the last one, I think it's a kind of a perfect fit for kind of like the author, is Richard Feynman, the physicist, because the author Christopher likes Richard's style, and Feynman already has a Nobel Prize in physics. So can you imagine actually getting out, like if he did that, the author, getting out the Richard Feynman biography, but like potentially the Sabrina Gonzalez Pasterski one first, where it's like one who is like a shoo-in to win, but hasn't won it, and then one that's, you know, very stylish and kind of matches the tone of the author. Like I personally, what I've heard about Richard Feynman and kind of the author's writing style, kind of that might be a match made in heaven, so to speak. But then, so he already has one, and then the shoe-in, right? So there's like if he can get there and publish the Pasterski one before she wins it, you know, kind of thing, then he could come back and do like an updated after she's won, right? So there we go. And again, I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Today is Thursday, 20 June 2024, as of when I'm filming this. These are my notes for my June 2024 reading of The King, The Life of Charles III by Christopher Andersen.